I appreciate your participation. It's so nice to see all of you and to have this great opportunity to share the Dharma teachings and practice together. I also want to express my appreciation to Jeremy and Colin for their generosity in housing us, and welcome everyone to this new teaching space. We now have this wonderful place for meditation and teaching, a space where we, can study and practice the Dharma together. And we are especially thankful to Jeremy for letting us use this beautiful room, which he calls the Dharma treasure room. So I hope you all enjoy meditating here together as a Sangha. And of course, for those who do not live nearby, please know that you still have access and can join the teachings through Zoom. So please check the calendar on the website so that you don't miss any teachings you wish to attend. We have scheduled all the teachings from today until the May retreat. So please check the website on the calendar. And we also have other, as you know, the important practice groups like White Tara, lineage, and all these groups. And all the information is on the Bodhicitta Sangha's website. So if you want to know, please check that. And I would like to thank Bodhicitta Sangha's board members, of course, volunteers, and with all of, all their help, which make it possible for me to share these teachings from my teachers and from the lineage with all of you. So really thank you. And yeah, it's again, just lots of people maybe not familiar with the website. So please check that and all the information there you need. And yeah, that's all I want to say. And thank you very much. This is wonderful. And we can practice and meditate together, receive teachings here, and also through the Zoom. So I want to say that teaching means a lot, right? But basically showing the path, receiving the transmission from the lineage, the great lineage, and that's sort of the teacher's responsibility to showing you the path. And make sure you receive all the transmissions from the great teachers and great lineages, and then applying it by following that path in order to achieve your own realization and your goal. So this teaching today is from Khenpo. He is from in Eastern Tibet and part of the Mundralang lineage within the Nyingma tradition of Tibetan Buddhism. Khenpo Kongshir was a great Dzogchen master. Um, so this teaching explains how to settle the mind and how to realize its true essence. Um, what is true essence? True essence is the true essence of the mind is not separate from ourselves, right? It's what our mind truly is when freed from all these delusions and ignorance. So this teaching explains how to, settle the mind and especially recognize its true essence, true nature. So, so there's a path, there is a practice, there is a result, right? Path is to settle the mind and see its essence, right? Then the practice is to remain in that recognition. And the result is the full realization that the mind essence is great wisdom and totally aware. So this teaching is kind of like I think good for both like beginners and advanced student, but basically um, it explains how to um, relax and the nature mind, recognize the nature mind is kind of more advanced level and people who are familiar with the nature mind and people who already received pointing instructions, that kind of, but it's also good for, I think, those who are beginners and, because you can um, understand how to relax your mind. So that's the kind of like the summary, the path. It talks about path and practice and result. So relying on this sort of essence of your mind is really important because it is the source of wisdom and compassion, which is uh, Buddhist teaching, the essence of Buddhist teachings. So I hope this teaching will be beneficial and that you will learn something from it. That's my motivation. Um, so this teaching is really beautiful and profound. So please take it seriously. What I mean by take it seriously, after receiving this teaching, uh, you should practice it. Because without practice, no matter how many teachings, tens of thousands, teachings you receive, there is no profound recognition or there is no really, beneficial if you don't practice. Okay, um, we all have this kind of habits, right? People, okay, I wanted this, I want to receive this teaching, that teaching, I want to receive this empowerment, that, but then we don't practice enough, so then there is no point. So especially this teaching is sort of explains the nature mind kind of, and how to relax and how to recognize it. So after, the receive these teachings, after you have to practice as much as you can, because the realization cannot be achieved just by receiving a lot of different teachings from different teachers and different lineage. It depends on your meditation, it depends on your bodhicitta, your faith, your, supplications, and so forth. Therefore, the foundation for receiving blessings is meditation. It's meditation and your faith, your you know devotion. Uh, because without these foundations, even supplications and recitations, like we say a lot of prayers and mantras and but then there is no good meditation or faith and all that, then even this, if you say lots of supplications, kind of like, meaningless. Um, so therefore, I always say realization is not just an intellectual achievement. Um, Lots of people understand, the teachings of Buddha intellectually, but then, you know, there's no uh, achievement. It is the direct sort of experience of the sort of the how do I say living truth of all phenomena. For example, when you eat, when you work, when you speak, whatever, when you sleep, all are with mindfulness and appreciation. So I think received teachings are very important from a good lineage, but more important is this foundation. You have to create this foundation, meditation, your faith, everything. But also don't worry too much about right or wrong. Just try to remember um, your meditation and all these kind of foundations like constantly every day. Now I'm going to start with the root text. It says, within the mind's awareness, boundless and free, without grasping at external appearances, when inner and outer dissolve, all is utterly transparent. Liberation from like and dislike, how truly wonderful. Emaho, wonderful. Here means in Tibetan, Emaho. So the first line refers to the natural kind of state of your mind, which is boundless and free. Within the mind, awareness boundless and free. It encourages you to recognize your own awareness as it is without trying to control or force it. No matter what kind of thoughts arise, during your meditation, whether, positive thoughts, negative, whatever, good or bad, whatever occurs, simply let them be and allow them to sort of settle naturally without control them. Oh, I'm meditating on my natural awareness, but now I have these thoughts, all this, so then we're not doing sort of correctly according to this teaching. So you have to just naturally, not without control anything, whether it says here, um, you know, uh, positive, negative, good, bad, whatever occurs, just recognize and then without control that. If you do that, then you are on the right path according to this teaching, no matter how you feel about it. Like uh, the yogi, the Milarepa said, when you realize it in the morning, it brings enlightenment in the morning. When you realize it in the evening, at night, or it brings enlightenment at night. So realize it means this inseparable, this true essence, the true nature that always we have. So if you realize that in the morning, it brings enlightenment. So if you do that, then you are on the right path, right meditation. So when you realize, if you want to practice to be genuine and grow, then make sure, according to Khenpo consciousness, make sure do this. Uh, Within the mind's awareness, boundless and free, without grasping at external appearance. When inner outer dissolves, this is the thing. In inner outer dissolve, all is a real transparent. Liberation is from, like, dislike. Um, so that's genuine. And so that, over the time, your mind will have turned away from all these distractions if you do this. Um, okay, I think that's the first line kind of, and then the second line, it says, without grasping at external appearances, means not strongly attached to what you perceive in the outside world, because the suffering arises from clinging to appearances as if they were permanent or real in themselves. So as a practitioner, we need to observe external appearances as they arise and dissolve without clinging to them. Like clouds passing in the sky. Doesn't matter, you can see whatever outside and just um, enjoy and let them, dissolve without clinging, without sort of attachment. That's the second line. Then third line, it says, when inner and outer dissolve, all is utterly transparent. Here, inner and outer refers to um, self and others, or subject or object, and everything. When this division or duality dissolves, nothing obstructs the clarity of nature awareness. So through this meditation, you direct experience emptiness and wisdom, where all these appearances are transparent and unabstract. Um, If you don't familiar with this area, no worry, I will explain later, but that's the third line. Then the last line, it says, liberation from like and dislike. How truly wonderful. This means freedom from attachment, liberation from dualistic emotions. So when the mind lets go of like or dislike, clinging, like is kind of like clinging, attachment. Dislike is kind of don't like, aversion. So uh, it sort of, if you let go of that, then it sort of rests in its natural freedom. That's is liberation, right? It becomes inner peace and freedom that are no dependent on external circumstance. Then you are totally relaxed and um, your mind, peaceful. So resting in this kind of awareness and freedom from dualistic emotions is liberation, according to this teaching, which is the result of meditation and insight. Then the next verse, it says, distraction is simply manifestation of the mind. Likewise, like and dislike, hope and fear, good and bad, and pure and impure are all aspects of the mind. In such moments, you should not disregard the law of cause and effect. Engage in your actions carefully and keep a low profile. Do not behave rudely and improperly. Rather, remain in harmony with those around you. Let all emotions and attitude of like, dislike be purified within your own space. So this suggests that all the distractions, whether internal or external, arise from the mind itself. Mind itself. They are a reflection of your mental state. So when the mind rests in sort of calmness or whatever you call it, distraction have no place to manifest, right? So understanding this gives you responsibility over your own thoughts and actions, as well as, like, dislike, hope, fear, good, bad, right or wrong, are all arise within the mind, within the mind. So recognizing that these kind of states arise in the mind um, allows for mindfulness and understanding rather than being controlled by them. So again, this realization comes through meditation. It says here, in such moments, you should not disregard the law of cause and effect. In Buddhism, this is important to understand, right? We should be mindful of cause and effect because every action, thought, and emotion has consequences. So whenever we make a choice, for example, first we should ask ourselves, what are the consequences of this choice? Will this choice bring benefits or not? If the choice feels comfortable and clear, which is probably based on a good motivation, then teachers say you should do it. And so it depends on good heart, good motivation. So when we do something, it's important to check our motivation carefully. Meaning, doing all your actions, out of bodhicitta, a kind, a compassionate heart, is most skillful and meaningful sort of practice. So this one, causing conditions. If we every single day, like, think about bodhicitta, compassion, this one solution takes away so many problems and negativities, right? Both for ourselves and for others. Takes away all this stress, all this depression, loneliness. All of this arise from selfishness. So you should not, it says you should not disregard the law of cause and effect. Ignoring this law is risky. Sometimes, you know, the Tantric practitioners think that they can do everything because it serves their practice. But this is, I think, a misunderstanding. Even if intentions are kind of spiritual, but actions have consequences, right? So in Buddhism, every action should be guided by this awareness of cause and effect, um, respect for the this, what do you call it, consequence, natural consequence of one's actions. So in Buddhism, it's important to believe in cause and effect, which is really difficult to believe because, I mean, we kind of believe, but then we do, it's not really in harmony. So because your your present actions influence also future outcomes. So understanding that every action has consequences teach that you are responsible for your own life, for your own mind. So this insight clarifies that your experience and guides you um, which actions you should take and which actions you should avoid. So Buddhism teaches that suffering arises from negative actions and attachment. Everything we do has consequences, which we often call karma, right? So believing in cause and karma increases compassion, patience, and ethical conduct because harming others ultimately ultimately brings harm to ourselves. So some might think karma is kind of a system of punishment, but it's actually a natural law, you know. So believing in cause and karma, cause and effect helps prevent harmful actions because the mind understands that everything we do has consequences. So this understanding encourages us to act carefully and stay humble. So believe in cause and effect in Buddhism encourages ethical, mindful living and cultivates personal responsibility and self-awareness and guides the practitioner toward reducing suffering. And then it says, engage in your actions carefully and keep a low profile. This is also important to practice in Buddhism, avoiding unnecessary attention or pride or arrogance, ego, all these things, confrontation, right? Keep a low profile. When people act or talk arrogantly, they want to demonstrate their own value, right? Which can lead to disrespecting or dismissing others' opinions or reacting sort of aggressively. Sometimes people behave um, very arrogantly because their actions arise from ego and pride without any recognition of their behavior. So arrogance comes from when someone feels the need to prove they're better than others. So they don't realize that arrogance really leads to isolation and creates distance from others and pushes people away. So in Buddhism, therefore, arrogance is considered one of the mental um, defilement, because it causes suffering for both oneself and others, and it arrogance, arise because people are not mindful when they speak. Arrogance is a sort of mental strong habit. Um, Practice, self-awareness, and mindful action are important as is recognizing the consequence of such, behavior. So this is why you can see all the time the great masters often, very humble themselves when they teach, when they you know write a text, book, whatever. Um, like you see Shandadewa, Atisha, Patrambuchi, they begin by humbling themselves before, offering their teachings and everything. There's a reason. Some, in the West, maybe the culture or whatever is like, oh, I know this, I can do this, I am the best. Sometimes people say that. That's not maybe arrogance by culture, but in Tibetan culture, you never say, I'm the best, I know this. They just, they being, really like humble themselves, because I think they're afraid of this kind of like isolation. The arrogance creates all these problems. Uh, and it also shows that humble bodhisattvas don't struggle with their ego problem. So we should observe how people respond when we speak arrogantly. Humble and thoughtful actions help avoid harm to ourselves and others and maintaining sort of harmony in daily life. So in Buddhism, it's important to respect others, focus on harmonious sort of interaction. So therefore it says, do not behave rudely or improperly. Rather, remain in harmony with those around you. As a practitioners, we should try to avoid words or actions that disrupt harmony or show, disrespect. This involves cultivating ethical conduct in daily sort of interactions, a balance in our behavior, and cooperating with others. So harmony is um, in active practice of integrating our actions with well-being of others. Uh, that's very important. I think the last line it says, let all emotions and attitude of like and dislike be purified within your own space. It means uh, we should not reject emotions, but allow them to arise and settle sort of naturally. Purified within your own space. It means observing them without attachment or judgment. So they lose sort of their disruptive power. Um, so that in that inner purification comes from this awareness, um, not denial. By you know purify within your own space, observing, right? Observing without all this, when we see, hear everything without attachment or judgment, just observe them and purify with your own space. Um, this awareness actually observe, inner, this is the we call it inner purification, right? That comes from this awareness. Um, so, by dealing with our feelings internally, we will be able to reduce their negative impact externally. So, in short, the meaning of all this is this line. I can say, recognize your own mind, then act mindfully and live harmoniously and purify your emotions internally, and understanding that everything arises from your own mind. So try to be mindful whenever you act. That's basically the summarize in this teaching, this line, the first teaching. And the next it says, ask yourself how much progress you have made on the path. See if you are able to face suffering such as sickness. See whether you can tolerate being mistreated and um, um, despise it. If you are unable to do so, it shows you are ordinary, a sign that the path is not yet complete. So, as Buddhist practitioners, we are encouraged to engage in self reflection and honestly examine our spiritual sort of personal progress, which is very important. Um, Life is full of challenges, and one way to measure our spiritual progress is by observing how we respond to difficult situations. For example, how we handle illness or physical and mental, all this discomfort. Observe how you respond when others insult or mistreat or humiliate or disrespect others do these things to you. How you handle such situation under social or emotional stress. If you can endure insult without anger or resentment, you are cultivating inner strength. Um, Spiritual development is not fully realized until you can face both physical and social challenges with self-control or composure. So in Buddhism, progress is measured or not just by external accomplishment, but by inner growth, such as increased your patience, mindfulness, compassion, and your inner understanding, and so on and so forth. So this kind of self-awareness is the uh, foundation for future, the further growth. So therefore, um, it is important to reflect on the progress you have made along the path. Observe whether you can face difficulties like suffering with patience and compassion. Consider if you are able to handle these difficulties like mistreatment without anger, for example. If you find that you cannot deal with these things, it's important to, I think, recognize this is a sign that you are still ordinary. When I say ordinary, being ordinary here doesn't mean bad or worthless, but it means there is still work to be done on the path for a spiritual practitioner. So self-reflection and effort are necessary to continue one's growth. Uh, you don't need to ask somebody, how am I doing about my practice? Or you can actually, this is really nice. You can observe yourself in daily life, because life is, every day there's difficulties and all these challenges we go through. So then once you meet these challenges, how you handle, I think that's easy to understand how much your practice help for and grow. Actually the point. Receive all the teachings and spend time, make time your meditation, all that. So when we have, if we can't handle challenges and get angry, upset, whatever, um, then I think still we have to work a lot. So we're still ordinary. I can see that myself, very ordinary, have lots of experience, received tens of thousands teachings in empowerments and all that, but still, you know, it's difficult, right? So we all, include myself, we all have to. This is like in the future, we have to keep this in our mind. Um, that helps, like um, our capacity, how much we have, our capacity, how much can we handle this situation? Once we, it doesn't matter. It's something, if you go through this difficult situation and you feel like I can handle this, and you are very patient and mindful and compassionate, then for sure something is working. So I think this line is very important, I think. Then the next verse, it says, as such, you should pray the Guru and the Yedam deity, receive empowerment and unite the Guru's wisdom with your mind, then rest in that expense expense without any tension or claiming I'm so ordinary still, and remain effortlessly in a state of complete relaxation. La malala sorwat wangvil on la tweet and zimming on the lut. It's beautiful in Tibetan. I can't translate it. English is like Tibetan. From time to time, reflect upon cause and effect, knowing that karma is unfalling. Take upon yourself the suffering of others and offer them whatever happiness you possess. Practice this exchange of happiness and suffering. Kaps jimdi hmesam ro dungar daglalong dag dirgi yan lashin der duk tonglin mukpachis. So this, we just, discussed, if we find that we cannot deal with difficult challenges, it is important to recognize this as a sign that we are still ordinary, right? So therefore, self-reflection and consistent, like our efforts are necessary for continued practice. So now here, like, how do we continue? How do we, if still we feel we are still ordinary, then we have to sort of, it's necessary, for, practice continually, then the question is, how do we continue to practice? Here it says, you should pray the Guru and the deity. So you begin by cultivating deep devotion, deep trust, and a heartfelt connection to the teachers, the lineage. And it says Yedam deity, who embodies enlightened qualities. So you should pray the Guru. So the Guru here represents awakened sort of awareness in human form, the living sort of bridge between ordinary mind and enlightenment. The Yidam deity represents your own enlightened potential in symbolic form. Then by praying to or connecting with both Guru, Yidam deity, you are turning your mind to awakening. And here, pray to your Guru, pray the Guru or Yidam deity. Pray means opening your heart with deep trust and devotion, invoking their blessings. This thing's very easy to understand, right? And it also says receive empowerment. It refers to the former or inner initiation through which you receive the blessing, permission, and confidence to recognize your own Buddha nature through their transmission. So that is exactly what it means to receive the empowerment. Then it says, unite the Guru's wisdom with your mind. It means dissolving the essence of um, separation between yourself and the Guru. In your meditation, you visualize the Guru melting into light and merging with your heart center. When you practice whatever Guru Yoga or nature mind, so it's the union of devotion and recognition, realizing that the Guru's mind and your own mind share the same nature, pure, open, aware, whatever you call it, no difference. So that's kind of recognition is important when you meditate on nature mind or practice Guru Yoga. Then it says, the rest in that experience without any tension or clinging. It means once that union is there, um, that enlightened mind, between Guru, you, Yidam, deity, you, whatever, is there, that union, inseparable. Then you need to just simply rest and that natural state of mind without trying to do anything. Stay gently in that sort of natural awareness. So this is the essence of what do you call it? Non-meditation, effortless resting in what already is. Yeah. Then the next verse discuss reflecting on cause and karma and practicing the exchange of happiness and suffering. I mean, you are all familiar with this teaching, so I will skip but move on to the further explanation, next verse. And then it says, do not reject difficulty nor seek comfort, simply relax, be without ideas of good and bad or hope and fear. If this is done, it enables you to remain joyful in any company, cheerful and content wherever you are, no matter how it is done, you remain joyful. Khenpo actually gave this instruction to his very advanced student. One student, he asked some information, instructions for his. He was in retreat and meditate on nature mind. So this teaching is very specific. This student. So if no matter how it is done, you remain joyful. Okay. So life naturally includes difficulty, but we should try to stay balanced regardless of circumstances and not chase comfort or pleasure as if our happiness depends on them, you know. When we let go of all this uh, dualistic sort of thinking, the mental habit of seeing things as good and bad, or, as objects, of hope, fear, um, and stop grasping and resisting, we can be very relaxing, and we begin to see the nature of everything, see things as they are. So these are instruction to let go of mental tension of trying to control everything. Also, this tells like most we believe, the genuine happiness uh, comes from all these things, comfort and pleasure, um, all this, the genuine happiness brings, it depends on them. That's not, it's actually, true. So when you no longer depend on outer conditions for inner peace and happiness, you can be content in all situations, whether surrounded by pleasant or difficult people or things. So this is what we call um, unconditioned joy, which arises from acceptance and awareness. That's why it says no matter how it is done, you you remain joyful. Then it says Jimdi Chijip Soni round and downs and chungers. The more carefully you adhere to cause and effect, the more your selfishness and self-grasping can diminish. Strong pleasure and pain will diminish, and fear of death will also disappear. All of these are signs that your practice has been effective. So here, cause and effect here refers to karma, meaning that every thought, word, and action has consequence. To adhere carefully means living with awareness of how your actions arise from intentions and lead to result. So when you pay attention to this relationship, you naturally become more compassionate and ethical, because you see that harming others ultimately bring sufferings back to yourself, right? As this understanding develops, you start act not from ego. So therefore, careful awareness of cause and effect gradually diminishes our selfishness and self-centered this thinking. So therefore, pleasure and pain no longer dominate you, because um, intense pleasure and pain come from attachment and aversion, anger, and both of these arise from ego, ignorance. Life still go through, joy and suffering. They don't really disappear. We still continue to experience them, but with your practice, they no longer sort of control you as much. Uh, when self-grasping diminishes, you realize that life and death are part of the same process of cause and effect. That means you understand that your life continues its natural journey. It's not a final completion or total end. Sometimes I think if when we die, if there is no future life, would be wonderful. I mean, like, I really like that if that's the case, because then we don't have to experience all different kinds of suffering, right? Create by our ego, mind, habit. We don't go through all this really sufferance. Terrible, right? If somebody really can prove there is no future life, I'm more than happy to hear that and believe in that, like so that then you don't, not just to myself, but so many negative people in this world, harmed like thousands of beings. And there are so many good people too. But so if there is something in the future, they're this cause and effect we're talking here in the karma, you're going tremendous suffering go through suffering. So I'm very happy to hear that there's uh, no future life. But seems, you know, there is future life. Um, if we really investigate, we have more proof uh, there is future life than there's no future life. There are a lot, I think there um, still nobody can show you there's like this is future life, but there's lots of, I think, proof. I kind of believe, there is future life. So then I think this journey, our life is not end completely. So there are also good thing is spiritual life. We hope, next life, then we have chance to, you know, achieve liberation or chance to help others. This life, I'm not able to help as much as I really want, but then in the future, so there's hope. So the good thing is, doesn't matter, we have to do our best in this life right now, today, every day. So that's, I think, very important. Just encourage yourself, okay, to understand um, essence of this sort of teaching, believe cause and karma, practice the nature mind with bodhicitta as much as you can. Oh, then it says all of these are signs that your practice has been effective. All of this, that this, all these inner changes we have been discussing, right? Reduce selfishness, diminish the attachment to pleasure, freedom from hope and fear, ability to relax and remain sort of content, what do you call it, a satisfaction in any situation. These are great sign of genuine spiritual um, development, progress. And these are the sign that your practice is working. So all of these are signs that your practice has been effective. So, so this verse teach that the result of practice are visible as inner change. Nothing has to do with outside, external. Only inner changes. Nobody knows except yourself. So, but in order to recognize, we have to examine, our our mind, the way we talk, the way we act, um, all this kind of. So this verse teaches that you should see your inner change. It's visible. Your practice, whether practice helping or not. So please check yourself. Everyday practice, especially when you face difficult situations, then it's important to recognize, because that's the point. Otherwise, when we're happy in good situations, then there's no problem. Now, the next verse, it says, in short, at all times and in all situations, if you know how to let the mind settle naturally, you will never be separate from the experience of its true essence. This is the summary or essential teaching. If you know how or have the capacity to let the mind settle naturally and allow your awareness to rest in its own state without sort of forcing your concentration, analyzing or controlling your thoughts, you will see that you are never separate from its true essence. You see, you are not disconnected from reality, from your own mind, or from the present moment. In your daily life, the mind can be recognized and allowed to rest in its nature, whether you are sitting, talking, walking, whatever, in all situations, whether pleasant or difficult. See, this shows these teachings kind of really for, advanced practitioners. However, this is impossible for us right now at this moment. But you don't worry about, we have to mm, keep practice. We have a busy, restless, um, highly conceptual mind, and our thoughts, emotions, and mm, habitual reactions are very strong. We often try to control or analyze our experience, which works against this kind of practice. This, directly experience the mind's natural state requires stability, training, and receive good instructions guidance. We also need more time and diligent practice. Therefore, we must prepare and gradually cultivate the conditions necessary to reach this, that state. Um, but it's possible if we never give up. Um, you know, have a good foundation for this practice and practice diligently. It's hard. It's not that easy. But once you experience even a little bit, it gives you a freedom, comfort. Then you feel all these external things. Usually you think this is the most important in my life. Once you have this inner little bit experience, you will lose that. Oh, it's not so important. So that shows your practice, there's something that you have to reach and, experience, not just the intellectual understanding, experience this inseparable, amazing, this inner quality, which we call liberation or enlightenment. That frees our mind from all these um, emotions, defilements, afflictions, whatever you call, cause us unhappy, all this destroy everything. So that's why we call liberation. Okay, the last it says, these crazy words arise spontaneously from the wanderings of Gangsher Wangbo. May you and I be one, inseparable in essence, and may our union bring benefit to all beings. This is beautiful, right? He called himself like wanderings of Gangsher Wangbo, and all his words are crazy. Crazy words arise spontaneously. That shows very natural, not thinking. When he give this teaching to his student, is just um, arise. All these teachings, words arise spontaneously without thinking. Um, yeah, that makes sense because this teaching is a little bit like there is a no beginning, no end. It's kind of like all over. But the essence of this teaching is um, nature mind. It's kind of part of the great perfection. He doesn't use the words, from the Dzogchen teachings, but kind of like, the essence of the Dzogchen teaching, and these are kind of similar. So that's why I thought this is a little bit, this teaching is kind of advanced. But we know how to relax our mind with and all in daily life, the act with mindfully. So that's very helpful. Uh, Now we're going to meditate for a few minutes. Meditate, of course, related to this teaching, which is nature mind. Uh, he calls awareness. Awareness. So meditate on natural awareness or natural mind. Um, Sometimes the way you sit also very important. So sit in a comfortable posture. Close your eyes gently or leave your eyes slightly open. Doesn't matter, whatever you like. And then take a few sort of deep breaths to relax the body and settle your mind. Sometimes we take breath, breathe in, and then breathe in from your nose and breathe out from your mouth. Sometimes we do both from your nose, whatever um, comfortable. Sometimes when you breathe in from your nose, breathe out your mouth, body feels more, makes your body more relaxed, a little bit easier or quicker than the other way. Whatever, people are different. So, but that few take few breath, deep sort of natural, gently. That helps relax both your body and mind. That's I always do begin when I meditate. Uh, doesn't need lots of time. Um, and then the key, like when distractions or whatever, internal, external, whatever arise, is, according to this teaching, gently acknowledge them, uh, and then return your attention to the mind, the awareness. And once mind is calm, uh, then shift your attention to the awareness itself. Go deeper a little bit. And do not try to create or analyze anything. When you meditate on nature mind, you don't investigate your thoughts. You don't react anyway, just to notice the distractions and then um, let them dissolve. Just to notice the presence of awareness itself. Thoughts, emotions, whatever arise, let them dissolve within this open sort of space of awareness. This happens all the time. If you recognize your thoughts and all these distractions arise and then they dissolve into the nature, this happening. This just you are not creating. It's just naturally, automatically. But when thoughts arises, we really noticed, and then we judge, and then we react, and then follow that. But if you don't do it, they just naturally dissolve into this awareness. It's just you don't have to do anything. Just don't. Whatever what you need to do is just don't follow or create any special thoughts. Just let them dissolve within this sort of open space awareness that is inseparable from your mind. So allow your mind to rest naturally in its own essence without following or pushing away thoughts. So that's very important to understand, do it. If thoughts arise, let them dissolve back into awareness. Avoid trying to control the mind. This is non-conceptual resting. just as Khenpo said in this teaching, let go of liking, disliking, grasping, or rejecting by rest and awareness. Mind is naturally aware, peaceful, and free. Uh, it's beyond likes or dislikes or dualistic emotions. But if your mind wanders, then um, you will lose these things. Then solution is you gently return to this awareness. Um, then you can just relax there as much as you can, and then just try not to force anything. Be gentle. But if you have a hard time to meditate on this your mind, then you still also like bring your attention to the breath, feeling it naturally come in and go out. And when thoughts arise, notice them without judgment, then gently return to the breath. So if you don't know how to meditate on nature mind or it's hard, then you can just focus on your breath. Once your mind is a little bit calm, then move attention from the breath to the mind itself and try to relax there as long as you can. So you have two choices, you know. One is just to meditate on the nature mind. If that's a little bit harder and difficult, then you can just focus on your breath. Let them go, come in, go out, and just to relax there. Make sure you are totally aware, you know. So that's the meditation, and we're going to meditate for a few minutes here, please.